So in our last kind of stream, we talked about AI music and kind of its impact on, not like just on the listening experience, but also on Spotify and the live streaming services. And we kind of mentioned that there was possibly a band out there that is getting hundreds of thousands of streams that seemed a little fishy. Seemed a little like maybe not real, AI, fake. Well, there seems to have been some developments in the area. Let's check this out. 500,000 Spotify users are unknowingly grooving to an AI-generated band. A supposed band called the Velvet Sundown has released 2 albums with AI slop this month. So typically, if you release 2 albums or 2 projects in a month span, you're probably fake already or probably bot. So that was a kind of dead giveaway. But here we go. Making art used to be a uniquely human endeavor, but machines have learned to distill human creativity with generative AI. Whether that content counts as art depends on who you ask. No, if you ask me, fuck no, that does not count as art. But Spotify doesn't discriminate. A new band called the Velvet Sundown debuted on Spotify this month and has already amassed more than 500,000 listeners. But by all appearances, the Velvet Sundown is not a real band. It's AI. While many artists are vehemently opposed to using AI, some have leaned into the trend to assist with music production. However, it doesn't seem like there's an artist behind this group. In less than a month, the Velvet Sundown have released 2 albums on Spotify titled Floating on Echoes and Dust and Silence. A 3rd album is releasing in 2 weeks. The tracks have a classic rock vibe with the cacophony of echoey instruments and a dash of autotune. If one of those songs came up in the mix, you might not notice anything is amiss. Listen to one after another though, and the bland muddiness exposes them as a machine creation. Some listeners began to have doubts about the Velvet Sundown's existence over the past week. Multiple Reddit and X threads pointing out the lack of verifiable information on the band. A list for members, none of whom to appear outside of the Velvet Sundown's album listing on social media. The group songs have been mysteriously added to a large number of user-created playlists, which has helped swell its listener base in a few short weeks when Spotify users began to notice Velvet Sundown's apparent use of AI. The profile had around 300,000 listeners. It's now over 500,000 in less than a week. That's fishy as fuck. That is fishy as fuck. Because there's a ton of artists, a ton of bands, a ton of like acts out there that have been on Spotify for years, that can't even get over 1,000 listeners a month. Not only did you just create this band, create this so-called band, put out this music, but you were able to amass over 300,000 listeners, and now over 500,000 in less than a week. And you were getting added to user profiles. That's fishy as fuck. You're meaning to tell me you don't think Spotify didn't have anything to do with this? Like Spotify wasn't behind this? Something smells off. I'm not gonna lie. Something smells off. You amassed over 500,000 listeners in less than a week, and you were added to countless user profiles when there's artists out there that have not been able to get over 1,000 listeners, and they've been doing this for years. How were you able to get that access? How were people to find you that easily? Something smells fishy, Spotify. When the Velvet Sundown set up an Instagram account on June 27th, all doubts relate to less. These people are obviously AI. We may be past the era of being able to identify it by counting fingers, but there are plenty of weird inconsistencies in the pics. And one Instagram post of because have gotten burgers to the success of the first one, but there are too many burgers, too few plates, and the food and drink are placed seemingly at random or on the table. Band members themselves also have the unrealistically smooth and symmetrical look we see in AI generated images. Yeah, that's a fact right here. There's no plate for this guy right here, the third guy. And it just has that AI look. You just it looks pretty real. Like, I think it's pretty well done AI kind of generation, but you can tell, like, there's still that uncanny feel to AI images. Now, maybe one day there won't be that, but as of now, there's still that very uncanny feel of AI images that when you look at it, you just know something is not quite right. That does not feel real. This feels inauthentic. And yeah, I can see it. Velvet Sundown is not the only AI-generated act to invade streaming services. In a recent episode of Last Week Tonight, Folks Night hosts highlighted an AI band called The Devil Inside that has released 10 albums in the past two years. Interestingly, both The Velvet Sundown and The Devil Inside seem to have many songs that reference dust and wind that may simply be an artifact of representation in music generation models, or they may both be products of the same slop manufacturer. I would guess the latter. I mean, this whole shit seems fishy, fucked up, conspiratorial at worst, manipulated at best. Like, if AI is this prevalent on a platform as big and as, profitable as Spotify, who have, countless workers at this point, if they were able to get by and do all this without any knowledge or any awareness of Spotify, that would show kind of how incompetent they are as a platform. But I don't think they are that incompetent or that kind of dumb or unaware of what's happening within, their services. I think they're very much aware that these are AI. And I feel like there was probably some backroom deals that helped get them kind of to the point to where they are, if for not to do anything else, but to prove that they can. Because I've kind of been sounding the alarm. I've mentioned this for a while, that Spotify has already been caught placing AI generated songs into people's playlists and mixes. Yes, now it's mostly been kind of limited to lo-fi hip hop or kind of background instrumental music that people listen to when they're like working or studying or whatnot. So they're not kind of like going out and searching for said artists, but kind of like passively listening. But they have sneakily been putting more and more AI artists into these playlists to avoid actually paying true artists that are making the songs that those AI, versions are built on. But that has been something that has already been proven to been happening and has already got some backlash. But that does not mean people have stopped using Spotify or stopped listening to those said playlists. So I think this is just the next step for them. I truly believe that they are probably testing things out and seeing if we can produce an entire AI artist, which means the payouts and everything would be far, far less. Wouldn't have to worry about licensing, wouldn't have to deal with the human aspect of music and creativity, but you can just profit off of and take the money. I believe that is the next step of what they're trying to do. I believe that they're trying to sneak in AI artists that they can turn into successful acts and to turn into like streaming juggernauts and artists that people, regularly listen to and stream, so that they don't have to pay the actual musicians making the actual music for which these models are built upon. But that's just me. That's just my conspiracy brain talking. Spotify is happy to accept AI music and does not require listings to reveal if a song was created entirely by a machine, which is kind of crazy and fucked up in the first place. At least with Facebook, Instagram, they try to, imply, and YouTube, they try to imply that you should label if something is AI generated so people kind of understand and can choose to support if they want to or not. Spotify said, fuck that. We want more. AI slop? Yes, please. They said they do not require listings to reveal if a song was created entirely by a machine. The Velvet Sundown is also available on other streaming platforms in Deezer, which takes a harder line on AI. The band's bio on Deezer includes a disclaimer that some tracks have not been created using artificial intelligence, also known as Spotify bio. Previously attributed a flattering description of the band's music to a billboard. The flattery remains, but Billboard's name has been removed. So, I mean, God, this shit's fucked up. This is so fucked up. Currently, the band's Instagram is flooded with comments calling out the use of AI, but the day may come when it's not so easy to tell. There's nothing inherently wrong with someone wanting to listen to AI generated song. They're telling YouTube channels to stream essentially infinite AI music. It's interesting telling. I mean, again, it's kind of up to user choice if you want to support AI or not. I can't really, tell you not to listen to it. I would hope that you would listen to it. I hope that you would listen to people that are actually creating the music that we love to this day, that have created the whole entire platform and medium in the first place. I would hope that you continue to support the things that we all love so much. But obviously that is dependent on the user. So I can't, bash anybody who chooses to listen to this AI fucking slop. But I can't bash Spotify, who's allowing this, and it's not only allowing this, but they are not letting people know that that is what you are in fact listening to. I can bash Spotify because I highly believe that they are probably behind this and helping pushing this simply for the fact that they can make more money off of it, and they don't have to pay out artists, they don't have to pay out people, they don't have to pay out writers, they don't have to pay out labels or studios. I believe that is the direction that they are heading in. And if that is the direction they're heading in, which they are, to me, they're very clearly heading in, there has to be some kind of strong stance, some kind of strong response to this, or we are all fucked. But there's more to this story. Let's keep going. For a long time there, here's their response to the Velvet Sundown claims they are a real band and never use AI. So here we go. Like, look at this. This picture's clearly fucking AI. That's hands down, not even us performing a little gig a while ago. Come on, this is straight up AI. Here, they're agreeing with me. What's more likely is that the Velvet Sundown has enjoyed an algorithmic nudge, which is I never thought of putting it that way. That is a fantastic way of putting Spotify is boosting the fuck out of them and pushing this to no ends. Algorithmic nudge. I like how he put that. I like how they put that, as is to closely mimic popular artists in the genre. The band has also appeared in some anonymous user-generated playlists that have been popular largely because of the real songs in the listings, pulling listeners off the back of other artists' work. Which, you know, there needs to be a whole conversation that we'll probably have about the Spotify playlist dilemma, but we can get into that at another time. I believe she said that they responded and said they're not AI. I don't know, but I think here we go. Let's go to Stereo Gum article. AI band The Velvet Sundown is an art hoax created by Suno spokesperson admits. So that first article came out, you know, maybe a couple weeks ago, and then, you know, it gained a lot of traction. People started responding to it. People started kind of like having sort of a backlash, as you know they rightfully should. And they finally came out and they admitted, yes, we are in fact a, you know, AI generated band that is making AI music. Here we go. Perhaps you too have had the displeasure of stumbling across the Velvet Sundown on Spotify or social media. The psych rock band made headlines last month as they amassed hundreds of thousands of streams of platforms by existing only for a few weeks. To amass that many in a few weeks and not have a hit song and not have something that has gone viral, it just smells and reeks of fucking corruption. It just smells of Spotify tampering and manipulation. And if this platform could not get shittier, if they cannot be more anti-musician than before, this proves it. Like, if this doesn't prove it, then I don't even know what to tell you. Like, they are just the fucking worst. They are just the fucking worst. They currently have 750,000 Spotify listeners. Is fucking crazy. The only problem is that they don't actually exist. Their press photos are comically unnatural looking. Their Spotify bio is a boilerplate nothing burger, and the music is just as bland as you'd expect. They have social media accounts where they've noticeably pushed back against AI accusations. Here we go. They said we're not real. Maybe you aren't either. Okay. Now a spokesperson for the Velvet Sundown has confirmed to Rolling Stone that they are in fact not real. The statement comes from pseudonyms adjunct Velvet Sundown member Andrew Freelon, who admitted that the music was made with AI music generator Suno, which already not a already a platform and an AI generation tool that has a lot of problems and has a lot of issues and has a lot of people feeling some type of way, me included. So yes, suno was in fact behind this, and the same program that Timbaland used recently to create the fake artist Tata, which we talked about in our last stream, our last Let's Chat stream, talking about Timbaland and how fucked up it is that he is doing what he's doing and how it might be time to leave him behind. You can go find that video on YouTube right now. But again, not great associations. It's marketing, freelanto, Rolling Stone on their phone. It's trolling. People before, they didn't care about what we did, and now suddenly we're talking to Rolling Stone. So it's like, is that wrong? Yeah, that actually kind of fucking is. It's false advertisement. It's kind of borderline illegal to me. And it's kind of proving the point of like how fucking snaky and just gross feeling AI can be. This right here, because you have corporations, you have these companies like Suno pulling shit like this on people, and Spotify willingly joining in and helping them to do this, and wondering why people have some type of issue with it is like, how fucking out of touch could you be? Initially, Freeland told Rolling Stone that AI was only used for the brainstorming project, but he eventually conceded that some songs, I don't want to say which ones were generated with Suno. I mean, I'm just going to assume like 95% of that shit was generated with Suno. Personally, I'm interested in art hoaxes, the leads, 13 a group of art students in the UK made like fake photos of themselves spending scholarship money at a beach or something like that, and it became a huge scandal. I think that stuff's really interesting. We live in a world now where things that are fake have sometimes even more impact than things that are real, and that's messed up, but that's the reality that we face now. So it's like, should we ignore that red? Should we ignore these things that kind of exist on a continuum of real versus fake, or kind of a blend between the two? Or should we dive into it and just let it be the emerging native language of the internet? That's an interesting kind of perspective to take on this. It sounds kind of like you're trying to save your ass a bit and kind of not come off looking as scummy and shady as you do, and have people kind of like have some sort of sympathy to this whole kind of endeavor that you've chosen to do on. I feel like you should double down, and if this is the route you're going to go, then you should just kind of double down and fully embrace it, not try to like hedge things and kind of like try to make it sound much more artsy and, we just wanted to make a statement. No, motherfucker, you were trying to make money. Like, let's keep it a buck. When asked by Rolling Stone if freelance cohorts use their own playlist to boost streams, he said, I don't have an answer that I can give to you for that because I'm not involved, and I don't want to say something that's not true. In other words, yes, but I don't want to like incriminate anybody or make anybody look worse than they already do. Absolutely, people are using their playlists to boost streams, because how else are you getting 750 fucking thousand listeners in less than 3 weeks with no hit song, no viral moment outside of being called fake? Like, there's something very fishy going on here. So making fake music kosher, but saying something that's not true is where this guy draws the line. Got it. That's a funny ass line. Apparently, the Velvet Sun have come out a couple weeks called Pepper Sun. We're about in the third in 2 months. Oh man, first comment. This couldn't quantify how I'm feeling about this and just this current state of things any better than this. It's an incredible shame how much everything from entertainment to politics amounts to getting attention through trolling these days. And as a result, it's making me sound and feel like a boomer. 1000%. I feel you 1000%. It's this age old thing that we, at one point, to get attention, to get fame, to get popularity, to kind of get viral, you had to kind of do something of note, of worth, of kind of creating. Like, you had to create something special. Like, you had to do something that truly stood out, that was something that people can gravitate towards. Now, obviously, you could have done something truly bad and horrible that also got attention. You could have become notorious from that. But nowadays, to the cheat code to getting attention, the cheat code to getting viral, the cheat code to doing, getting attention these days is through trolling. And it gets very fucking tiring, and it makes you really want to tap out of social media and this whole kind of experiment going on, because it's like, if all we're doing is trolling, if all we're doing is being insincere and fake, then what is the point of it? what is the point of all this if it is literally just to gain attention? Like, what are we giving up? What is the cost of what we're doing? And at some point, like, as a younger kid growing up through this generation, like, I couldn't imagine having to deal with this over and over and over again when, like, is anything real? Is anything sincere anymore? It doesn't seem to be the case. Same. They feel the same way. Trolling for attention seems to be the central thing with these AI scumfucks. Oh, absolutely. They don't hire human billboard. People have said basically the same thing. Like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, as if AI couldn't be more scummy and just pointless and divisive, they come along and do shit like this. That's just like, oh, of course people don't fuck with this. Of course people have a problem with what is going on, simply for the fact that, like, come on, like, this is it. Now they're at 1 million monthly listeners. This is clearly fucking manipulated by Spotify. And the fact that Spotify is even allowing this to continue to happen, and instead of like ripping them off their platform, they're fully promoting and profiting off of it. It just shows where they are in terms of business and, you know, what they think about musicians and music in general. But let's check this shit out, because I actually have never heard them. Here's their biggest track, Dust on the Wind. It has over 1,054,000 listeners already for this one track, and it came out when June 5th. What? Nah, that can't be. That can't be. This song, Dust on the Wind from The Velvet Sundown, released June 5th, 2025. And it already has over 1 million streams. If that doesn't reek of bots or Spotify manipulation, I don't know what does.
Dust on the wind, boots on the ground, smoke in the sky, no peace found. Rivers run red, the drums roll slow. Tell me, brother, where do we go? Raise your hand, don't look away. Sing out loud, make them pay. March for peace, not for pride. Let that flag turn with the tide. Guitars cry out, bullets fly. Mama prays while young men die. Ashes fall on sacred land. We still got time to make a stand. Raise your hand, don't look away. Sing out loud, make them pay. March for peace, not for pride. Let that flag turn with the tide.
I will admit, it's not the worst fucking song that I've heard. And if I honestly, like, I could definitely see how people could be very duped by this and not aware that this is AI, considering, you know, it has the general makings of a song. It's not the most interesting song. I think it's pretty, you know, bare bones and simplistic, and it clearly is following a formula. But I can see why this will get people fucked up and like really confused as to like, oh, this is an actual real artist. Like, this isn't real music. This is AI. Like, yeah, I can definitely see this being passed off as, you know, a real song. And for Spotify, they don't see any difference because all they see is it getting streams or not? Are people listening to it or not? Is this bringing, you know, the streams? That's it, which equals money for them. Like, that's all they truly care about. And that's corporations care about. I don't think this is going to ever become the mainstay of most people's kind of like listening experiences, because a part of, you know, listening to artists is also like connecting with that artist outside of the music and like on a personal level that has a huge impact of why certain artists are people's favorite artists. So that's something you will never be able to get from AI. What I do think is going to be a huge fucking point of contention and concern for a lot of artists is when it comes to syncs, when it comes to commercials, when it comes to getting your places on soundtracks, which is a huge source of income and revenue for a lot of artists and acts out there, is getting placement on TV shows, on movies, on commercials. That is a huge source of income for a lot of people that, you know, maybe won't be able to do on tours of like Taylor Swift's level, but they are able to, you know, eke out a living simply for the fact that, you know, they get these placements, they get these appointments on properties and other sources of medium that, you know, continues the reach and impact of said music and song. But if they continue down this road, and, you know, as a company, I can definitely see a lot of companies doing this. Like, why would I pay X amount of dollars for an artist to use in my soundtrack when I can just go to Suno, when I can go to any of these AI platforms and have them spit out some sort of close amalgamation of the sound and kind of feel that I'm looking for, and just put it in there, because most people won't know the difference between that and a real artist. That is going to fuck up a lot of things in the music industry and in the music field in general. Because it's already hard enough to make a living making music, but now you're going to have to compete for placements with AI songs. Picture that. That's fucking terrifying. That's fucking terrifying if you're an artist. If you're somebody out there trying to make a living from your music and your art, and if you're going to have to compete now with AI that can do some sort of shitty approximation of music for pennies on the dollar compared to what you would probably have earned as, you know, getting placement in these syncs, that's really fucking scary. And it only like reaffirms where I think there needs to be some sort of union. There needs to be some sort of, you know, forming of, you know, linking arms and protecting each other as artists, because if they continue to let this degradation of the art form continue, it's only going to get harder to make a living and to make money from it. And like, people are going to be fucked. Point blank period. People are going to be fucked. And I don't want the medium to be degraded even more than it already is, because it's already in a very shitty place. I love music. I love the people that make music, and I want them to continue to be able to create music and create new experiences and create new different things within the field. But if there is no money in it, if there is no way to make a living, and the few ways that you were able to make a living are going to be replaced by fucking artificial intelligence that is based on the music that people have already make, and they're going to allow that to happen, I really worry about the future of a lot of these fields and like just what that will look like. Cause that's fucked up. That is fucked up. Things are looking shaky. Things are definitely looking shaky. Like, I know we keep talking about AI, but it's simply for the fact that, like, look, it's not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. It is going to continue to be pushed by, you know, these different labels, these different executives, these different companies. And until we decide to, you know, take a stance against it as a whole, as a group, I don't necessarily see the situation getting any better anytime soon. That's fucked up though.